This conference will now be recorded.
ॐ शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। श्रुते स्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। Namaste. We will now see the meanings of the namas in verse 40 of Shri Vishnu Sahasranama based on the commentary of Shri Shankaracharya. First, now we will see the verse. Viksharo rohito margo hetor damodara sahaha mahidharo mahabhago vegavanamitashanah. The namas herein are Viksharaha, Rohitaha, Margaha, Hetuhu, Damodaraha, Sahaha, Mahidharaha, Mahabhagaha, Vegavan, Amitashanaha. So there are 10 namas in this verse. We will see the meanings of each of these. The first nama is Viksharaha. Vigataha, Ksharaha, Nashaha, Yasyasau. The one who is free from decay, destruction. So Viksharaha has two components, Vi and Kshara. Vi is explained by Acharya as Vigataha, that which has gone away, or the one who is free from. What is he free from? Kshara. Kshara is Nasha, destruction, decay. So the one who is free from decay, destruction, the eternal consciousness, the Paramatman, is Viksharaha. The second nama is Rohitaha. Swachandataya Rohitam Murtim. Matsya Vishesha Murtim Va Vahan Rohitaha. The one who develops or grows or assumes a physical frame on his own, or the one who carries the form of a fish. So Rohitaha means the one who develops. So what does the Paramatman develop? The Murti or a physical form. How does he develop? Is he under any constraint? No. Swachandataya. According to his will, he develops various physical forms to serve his purpose of protecting the dharma and destroying the evil. So the one who on his own will develops various murtis or forms. Or Acharya points out that this term Rohita that develops, that indicates the Paramatman developing his own physical form or assuming his own physical form, refers to the Matsya Vishesha Murti. So Rohita is generally any Murti of any avatar Murti of Lord Narayana, or it may point to especially the Matsya Avatara. The third term is Margaha. There are a couple of meanings to this term. Mumukshavaha tam devam margayantiti. The one who is sought by those seeking liberation. So margaha, margayantiti margaha, the one who is sought. So margaha is interpreted as the one who is sought. So who are seeking the Paramatman? Those who desire liberation, mumukshavaha. So those who desire liberation, they are devoted to Lord Narayana. So to indicate that, the term margaha is used. Or another interpretation, Paramanandaha yena prapyate saha margaha itiva. Or the path by which the supreme bliss is attained. So margaha in the second interpretation is taken to mean the path. So path. So the devotion to Lord Narayana is the path, or Lord Narayana himself. Remembering him or taking his name or thinking about him is the path. Is the path to what? A path always leads to a destination. What is the destination to which this path leads to? Paramanandaha, great bliss. So the path of devotion to Lord Narayana leads to the great bliss. That is the margaha, that is the path which is indicated by this term margaha. So the path is also Lord Narayana, and the destination, the Paramananda, is also Lord Narayana. The fourth term is Hetuhu. Upadanam nimittam cha karanam sa eveti. The self same material and instrumental cause of the universe. So the term Hetuhu simply means cause. So Paramatman, Lord Narayana, is the cause. Is the cause of what? Is the cause of everything, the world and all the beings herein. For that, he is the cause. What kind of a cause is he? Is he the material cause, like the mud for a pot, the inseparable material cause, or the instrumental cause, or the instruments by which a particular thing is made, like a potter or the potter's wheel, etc.? He is both. He is both the upadana and the nimitta karana, the material cause and also the instrumental cause of the universe. He makes the universe and he is the universe, and hence he is the ultimate cause. Hetuhu. The fifth nama is Damodaraha. There are a few interpretations to this term. Damadi sadhanena udara utkrishta matihi ya taya gamyata iti. So the one who is attained by those whose minds are sublimated by Dhamma and other methods of self-control. So there are two components in the term Damodara, Dhamma and Udara. So in this interpretation, so these two terms are taken as Dhamma and Udara. So the fusion of Dhamma and Udara is taken to bring about the term Damodara. So Dhamma is control of the senses. That is one method. So methods beginning with Dhamma, Shama, Dhamma, Uparati, Titiksha. So all these are the qualities: control of the senses, control of the mind, ability to withstand difficulty in the life without having much of a mental fluctuation. So all these are the qualities which are called as Dhamma Adi Sadhana. So by these noble virtues, by cultivating these noble virtues, Udara, Udara means Utkrishta, the mind that becomes sublimated, the mind that rises above from worldly sufferings. So the one who is achieved, or the one who is realized by such minds which are sublimated by virtues like Dhamma, etc., he is Damodaraha. So this is the first interpretation. Towards this interpretation, a quotation from Mahabharata is given by Acharya. Damat Damodaro Vibhuhu. So the one, the all-pervasive Vibhuhu, who is achieved or who is realized through Dhamma, he is Damodara. Now we come to the second interpretation. Yashodaya Damna Udare Baddhaha iti va. The one who was tied with a rope wound around his stomach by Yashoda, the mother. So we know in Krishna Leela that he was a very mischievous child. So to control him or to control his mischiefs, Yashoda used to tie a rope around his stomach and to a particular post so that he doesn't run around and does further any mischief. So the one who was tied in his stomach through the dama. So dama and udara are the terms. Dama refers to the rope and udara is stomach. So the one who has a rope around his stomach. So why is that rope around his stomach? Because it was tied by Yashoda to control his mischief. So this reminds us, this term Damodara reminds us of the Bala Leela of Lord Krishna, which itself brings to the mind a sense of happiness and bliss to the devotees. So Damodara, this is the second interpretation. Then there is a third interpretation, Damani Lokanamani Tani Yasya Udarantare iti Vyasa Vachanadva Damodaraha. Dama refers to or Dama indicates the worlds, the Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha. So these are the worlds that are indicated by the word Dama. And then those worlds are in the Udara or within the abdomen or within the stomach of the one. So the one in whose stomach the entire creation is in. So this is a statement attributed to Vyasa. So based on this statement of sage Vyasa, Acharya interprets that the one in whose abdomen the entire universe is. So he is Damodara, which means, which indicates the Vedic statement Adhyatishtat Dashangulam, means the one who pervades and exceeds the entire creation, Damodaraha. So with these three interpretations, the one who is realized through qualities such as Dhamma, and then the one to whose stomach a rope is tied by Yashoda, he is Damodara. And finally, the one in whose stomach the entire creation is, the Sarvavyapitva, the all-pervasive nature of Paramatman, is brought about by the third interpretation. Thus are the three interpretations of the term Damodara. The sixth nama is Sahaha. Sarvan Abhibhavati Kshamata iti va Sahaha. The one who subdues everyone or the one who is capable of withstanding. So Sahate iti Sahaha. So Sahaha has two meanings. The one who subdues everyone. In all his avatars, we see Lord Narayana overcoming various kinds of negative entities, so many powerful entities, Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, and so many such negative forces, how much ever powerful they may be, all those were overcome by Paramatman, and hence Sarvan Abhibhavati, the one who subdues everyone, or Kshamate itiva Sahaha. So the one who is endowed with Kshama, great patience, great capability to withstand. So in the Ramavatara, we see this is exemplified. So when his coronation was stalled by his own stepmother, so he withstood all the difficulties and the entire Vanavasa. he withstood with great patience and presented as a great role model. So Sahaha, the one who withstands with great patience all difficulties to show how to practice patience. So he is Sahaha, and Sahaha also means the one who subdues or overcomes all negative forces, the powerful entity. So both these meanings are indicated by the term Sahaha. Mahidharaha, Mahim Girirupena Dharatiti, the one who holds the earth in the form of mountain. So Mahi and Dhara are the two components. Mahim, the earth, Dhara, Dharati, the one who holds. So it is, we see that it is the mountains in the Puranas and our scriptures. We see Mahidhara is a synonym for the mountain. So it is a traditional belief that all these mountains that we see are the ones that hold the earth together. So they maintain the earth's balance. So they are called as Mahidhara, and those great entities like Himalaya and other mountains that are the cause of balance of the earth, they are none other than the Paramatman, Lord Narayana himself. Every mountain is a manifestation or representative of the Paramatman, as the sun, as the moon, as the ocean. And all these great entities or manifestations are to be seen as the manifestation of the greatness of the Paramatman. Similarly, the mountains, the great mountains that we see, the Himalaya, the Vindhya, the Sahya, all these mountains are none other than the Paramatman himself. And as mountains, he holds the earth, supports the earth in a steady manner. So to this, we have a quotation quoted by Acharya from the Vishnu Purana. Vanani Vishnuhu Girayo Dishascha iti Parasharoktehe. All the forests are Vishnu, and all the giris, all the mountains are Lord Vishnu. And Dishaha, all the directions are Vishnu and none other than Vishnu. So the forests, the mountains, the directions, all these are nothing but the great manifestations of Paramatman. So Mahidharaha, Mahabhagaha. There are a couple of interpretations. Swachandataya Dharayan Deham Mahanti Utkristani Bhojanani Bhogya Jatani Bhunte iti Mahabhagaha. Assuming physical body on his own will and experiences great pleasures. So here the term Mahabhaga, so it has two components, Maha and Bhaga. Maha is great, and Bhaga here is interpreted as Bhogya Jatani, Bhojanani, Bhogya Jatani, Bhunkte. So the one who experiences great pleasures is Mahabhaga. So where in all his manifestations, the Paramatman we see, or especially in the Ramavatara and Krishnavatara, how majestically, how in a great manner or in a royal manner, the Paramatman manifests and experiences great pleasures. Yes, of course, the Paramatman in his Ramavatara and Krishnavatara is seen as prince and also a king who experiences great pleasures, but it is also to be noted that they underwent great difficulties also in the self-same avatara. In Ramavatara, the great 14-year Vanavasa and all the trials and tribulations in the Vanavasa. And even in the Krishna Avatara, what a great scene of calamity, the great Mahabharata Yuddha, and even otherwise, Jarasandha attacked Krishna for more than 17 times. So, as they enjoyed great pleasures and happiness, they also underwent uh, great difficulties, but they were balanced. So, this aspect of their experiencing great pleasures and so indicating the greatness and opulence of the divinity, that is indicated by the term Mahabhaga. That's the first interpretation. The second interpretation, Mahan Bhagaha Bhagyam Asya Avatareshviti. So great grace or blessings in his incarnations. So here the term Bhaga is Bhagyam, means grace and blessings and great blessings. So in all these avatars that the Paramatman Narayana has took, so many people achieved many great blessings. So they were blessed with so many wonderful things. So in Ramavatara, we see Ahalya being a stone turned into again turned back again into a human form. Vibhishana, an asura, again got the great Sharanagati in Ramavatara. And in Krishnavatara also, all the Gopikas were blessed with the company of the Paramatman. And so many such examples are there where so many people experienced, so many entities, so many divinities, they were blessed. Even now, every part of this country, we celebrate them. Oh, here is where Rama stayed during his Vanavasa. This is where Sita cooked in the Vanavasa. So all the places, they themselves are celebrated and great temples are there. People congregate. So in this way, great grace that descended on the earth along with the Paramatma. So many places, so many things, and so many people experienced that great grace and great blessings. So Mahan Bhagaha, so many entities achieved great blessings, and hence the one because of whom so many people achieved the Mahan or Mahat Bhagyam, he is Mahabhagaha, Lord Narayana. The ninth term is Vegavan. Vegaha, Javaha, Tadvan. Vegaha refers to speed, the one who is endowed with it. So, Vegavan. So, Vega refers to Javaha or speed, and Tadvan, Vegavan. So, the one who is endowed with speed. Who is this? To clarify this, Acharya brings in a quotation from the Ishavasyopanishad. Anejadekam manaso javiyaha. So we see in this Ishavasyopanishad that anejat, without even moving or vibrating, there is one entity which is manaso javiyaha, which is faster than the mind. There is one entity which does not move, anejat, ekam, but it is manaso javiyaha, but it is faster than the mind. So normally we say manovega, vayuvega, manovega. Mind is termed to be very fast, moving from one plane to the another, one place to another. So it is manovega is faster. Something is, when we say something is fast, we say it is as fast as the mind. But there is something more faster than the mind. But in the process, although it is fast, it doesn't even move, it doesn't even vibrate. So that is Paramatman. How? Because it is present everywhere. So all that is here is Paramatman. So mind being limited, has to go from one place to another, though it goes very quickly. But the Paramatman, the pure consciousness, which is everything, need not go anywhere at all because it is present everywhere. So even so, if the mind is here, so the Paramatman is already here. If the mind quickly travels to another place, another country, whatever is present there, it is also Paramatman. So even before the mind goes, the Paramatman is already there. So in this comparison, so it is beautifully or interestingly put in the Upanishads that because of the all pervasiveness, it is present everywhere. So wherever the mind wants to reach, before it already the Paramatman is in his all pervasive pure conscious form, and hence he is the real Vegavan, real entity which is endowed with great speed, speed greater even than the mind. Then the 10th term is Amitashanaha, Samhara Samaye Vishwamashnatiti, the one who consumes everything during annihilation. So Amitashanaha, Amita, Ashanaha are the two components. So Ashana means to consume. Amita means without any limit. So Amita, mita is some quantity. Amita without any limitation to quantity. Ashana, the one who consumes. So that is explained by Acharya as Vishwam Ashnatiti, the one who consumes everything when Samhara Samaye, during the annihilation, nothing remains, everything goes back into the pure Paramatman. So Amita Shanaha. So with these 10 namas in verse 40, thus far we have seen 372 namas. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu.